Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm super excited for all of us to join us today. It is a lovely, beautiful day here in Chicago. My name is Juana Estrada, and as I mentioned, I am located here in Chicago, and I am the event manager here at Latinas in Tech. Feel free to add in the chat where you guys are joining us today from, just so we get an idea of who our viewers are joining us from today. As I mentioned today, we are having a beautiful day in Chicago. It is finally sunny. We've been experiencing some really gloomy days here in the Midwest, but it's nice to finally have the sun out today. Um, I'm going to give a minute or two before we begin so that we can let most of our attendees join on the call. I see that we have people joining us in from Austin, Atlanta. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. And if this is your first event here at Latinas in Tech, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that a lot of us are beginning to wrap up our calendars as the holidays are right around the corner. But thank you so much for all of you guys for joining us today. And as mentioned too, I would like to say thank you to our sponsored event, which is Home Depot. Thank you so much to Home Depot and their team for helping us today bring this event to light to you all. We have some exciting information shared with you guys, so I'm excited to have them all jump onto the call and share that information with you guys. But before we begin, I'd like to welcome you guys, and again, thank you for all of you guys joining us today. If this is just your first Latinas in Tech event, welcome. And if you are interested in becoming a member of our network, I ask that you go onto our website, which is latinasintech.org, and I encourage you guys to just register, and that is all it takes to be part of our membership. As part of our membership here at Latinas in Tech, you are welcome to our large network. Our main goal here is to empower Latinas who are in the tech industry. We do that by three core elements, which is by providing professional development to our members, by allowing you guys to connect with recruiters like today, and also too by creating representation, right? We would like to offer you guys chances to connect and network with people who look just like you, who are like you, and also too who want to grow and empower themselves within their career. As part of our membership, you are open to our 20 plus chapters that we have all across the US. And you're also part of our 1,700 plus membership chapter. So we have a large network of women in our community who are here dedicated to not only empower you, but also learn from you as we grow. A little of some housekeeping rules before we begin our webinar, that we ask that anybody who is attending today to please ask all of your questions in the Q&A chat. You can see that located in the lower bar of your webinar. And you can see that button, and when you click on that, you can begin to ask the questions to any of our panelists. We have time reserved towards the end of the event to answer any of those questions that you have. And feel free to upvote those questions too if you want those questions to be answered. But before we begin, I want to open this up to Jordan, who will be introducing to you guys all the new launch for their store mode app. So Jordan?
Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's super exciting to be here. I'm Jordan Benedict. I'm product manager with the mobile app team at Home Depot. And what I'm hoping you guys are very familiar with is that we have a killer consumer app that gives our customers a native app experience for shopping online at the Home Depot. We've seen so much growth in both our product growing to be one of the best in class retail e-commerce shopping apps, as well as that growth in demand and app usage from our customers. So if you are a DIY customer or pro looking to research a product or purchase a product at home or on the job site, we got you covered. We have a solid online purchasing experience. But what happens if you go into the store? How can our app help you there? Well, this is where store mode was born. Customers who are opening the app at the store to assist with their in-store shopping visit have a very different shopping journey. So we wanted to tailor to this customer segment to see how might we help our in-store customers complete their in-store shopping journeys. And that's where we have store mode. So store mode is a brand new native app experience that gives our in-store customers a simplified app experience that allows them to focus end to end on their in-store shopping journey. We launched the first phase of store mode at the beginning of November this year, and it was such an exciting year to get to where we are today. When we were thinking about building store mode, we first wanted to identify who the customer personas that we would be building this experience for would be. We worked with our research partners to identify 4 key personas, which were the urgency shopper, the casual shopper, the project shopper, and then our store associates. So we wanted to take all 4 of these personas into consideration to ensure that we would be helping each one of those as we built store mode. So now with those personas identified, then we wanted to think about, well, what are the key elements and in-store use cases that we would be addressing? So looking at our data and our customer feedback, we established these 3 key pillars of store mode for our initial launch. So we have wayfinding, confidence building, and project completion. And so now I'll turn it over to Natalia to speak to some of the designs and our approach, and you'll see those 3 key pillars highlighted throughout the experience.
Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, I'm super excited to be presenting about store mode. And so I'll be kind of talking about how we landed on the design and the whole experience from like end to end. And so the entire concept of store mode was based on the idea of designing as if a customer has one hand on their cart and then their phone in the other. And so as Jordan mentioned, store mode is triggered when customer is already sharing their location and they're inside the store geofence. So they'll see a landing screen to let them know that something in the app has changed and that there's something new. So we want to let them know, hey, there's something new and exciting called store mode. We didn't include it here, but it has a cute animation, so you'll have to check it out later. And after that landing screen, the customer is taken to the homepage. So the screen there you see in the center. And so we wanted to make this kind of like a remote control concept where the customer has some quick tools. And how we chose these were based on data of some of the most used tools while a customer is shopping in store currently in the app. And so after a customer searches for a product there on the homepage, they'll be able to see this product listing page there on the left of the homepage with all the results. And so we have most are found in this aisle there and Island Bay information prominent because we want it to be easy for the customer to know where a product is located. And after they tap on a product here that they're interested in, we have the product information page. And so we want to continue kind of this remote control concept with big buttons. We only have the most essential and relevant information there. And if a customer does want to get more information on a specific product, they can, for example, like product details or most helpful reviews, or they can also see the full product page there. And there on your right, we know that customers use cart as a list while they're shopping in store just in the app. And so we wanted to make it easy for them to reference products that they have saved to their cart here among maybe other lists that they've already created. So you'll see there that we have all the lists, but then also an items in cart list. So it's easy to access there. And so because we know this is a new feature, some customers might not be familiar with what store mode is, how it's going to work. And so we also had to think about different navigational elements and awareness to kind of teach our customers and let them know how to use store mode. And so what you'll see there on the first screen on the left, the tooltips. So we used a couple different tooltips throughout the experience so that customers can know how to exit store mode and how to come back into it if they need more information on products. Yeah, that's kind of an end-to-end brief walkthrough of some of the design and the experience for store mode.
Thank you so much, ladies. I'm actually excited for this app. especially now for me that like now I'm out and about looking for things how to renovate my apartment, and I'm constantly at Home Depot myself, so this is going to be really efficient for me. I'm always on my phone, so this is going to be a really good way for me to better navigate the store, right? Because God knows I sometimes get lost in there, it's so huge. um Again, let me remove my screen, give me 1 second please. So let's dive into kind of just giving some brief introductions of who we are. So I like to open up the floor for that. Jordan, if you feel free to go begin with that.
Yeah, of course. Jordan Benedict. I'm a senior product manager at the Home Depot. I've been with Home Depot for just over 3 years. Time has flown by. It's been super exciting. And I've been on the mobile app team for all 3 of those years. So gotten to see a ton of growth and work with a lot of different teams as we've grown. And it's just been an amazing journey so far.
Thank you. Rajesh, can you go next?
Joining you all.
Sorry to interrupt. There are some issues with the audio.
Okay. Let's see.
We'll go with Natalia next.
Okay, sounds like you're in Matrix or something. So yeah, I'm Natalia. I'm a user experience designer on the mobile app team. I joined Home Depot roughly about 3 years ago, but I was first an intern. And since I joined as a full-time associate, I've also been on the app team since.
Thank you so much. Let's give it one more try, Rajesh.
Hi, I'm Rajesh David from Dallas, Texas, joining you all. How are you all this afternoon? I've been with Home Depot for 8 years now. I mean, primarily in mobile apps team. And what's interesting now is I'm also in charge of this in-store experience and sort of innovation.
8 years. It's really exciting. I'm sure that you've
Yep.
seen a multitude of changes within the industry, especially now with us being virtual.
Oh yeah.
I definitely wanted to tap into the question, and Natalia, this is for you. Tell us about what inspired you to build and grow your career at Home Depot.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I was an intern before joining as a full-time associate. And it was awesome because very early on during my internship, I was able to see through different coworkers and just kind of the environment that Home Depot is a company that doesn't just preach the values, but really lives them. And for me personally, it's important to be part of a company that directly impacts and helps others. And I think at the Home Depot, we all have that unique opportunity. So no matter what your role is, we follow kind of, I don't know if some of you have seen, but the inverted pyramid model, which is on every apron every associate has in store, where the associates and customers are at the top. So we're all able to listen to our customers and respond to their needs, whether that's using the app or like for store mode or our website or shopping in store. So that I think makes what I'm doing day to day, especially as a UX designer, have kind of purpose and be more meaningful.
I love that. That's really awesome. And Rajesh, how about yourself? How's that experience been for you?
I mean, Home Depot is a retail company, and I am from a background of retail myself, and my family used to have a couple of stores. So this was something like, should I join Home Depot? When I joined, and then when I joined, the philosophy where they taking care of the associate and take care of the customer, and then the business takes care of it. So that philosophy basically helped me grow. I mean, as an associate with the company, I've seen myself grow because they put me in a situations where I can learn so fast, and retail is very challenging business. So that gave us a lot of opportunity to grow as my career. Right now, today, as an engineering manager, I wouldn't imagine 8 years ago that I would do this. So it's all because of Home Depot's challenges.
That is so very true. I know I actually have experience with retail, and you're absolutely right. It's not the easiest, but I think that you guys have amazing philosophies to help with that. Rajesh, to you, I actually wanted to ask you, tell us about how your work cross-functionally has helped bring this feature to life. I know since you are a prominent member of that.
I mean, this specific feature is a little bit challenging for us, because technically we have to ensure that we can detect the user right into the store as soon as they arrive to the store. So that was pretty challenging to us. So, I mean, and also, the timeline, we had to do it right before the holidays.
that must have been a really quick turnover for you guys. How about you, Jordan? How was the experience for you working cross-functionally to bring this app to life for you?
Yeah, this is a really good question because none of this would have been possible without the collaboration that we had amongst our team, but also so many different teams across the organization. And I think that's what makes working at Home Depot so much fun. There's always so many new people to meet and work with. Rajesh and the engineering team, Natalia and our UX team, I and our product team, we work together every day to discuss the experience and the customer problems we're looking to solve, build our plan and identify a path forward. But then we also worked with so many other teams just across the org. Research helped us test the experience and get early customer feedback. Our content partners helped us with our feature communication and in-app copy. We worked with our search partners, our in-store environment teams, recommendation teams, and even the store associates. So the list just goes on and on for the teams that we worked with to bring this to life. And so it was so much fun just getting to work with so many great people across Home Depot.
On that note, actually, I just realized the cross-functional team, recently in 2018 or something, we actually changed our company to concentrate like a small little startup. It's a big company, but we wanted to be as a startup mode. So we call these squads where we have cross-functional autonomous teams, and we have product, UX, and engineering, and other team members contributing as a single team. So which helps us to think for a specific area, for example, in-store experience. So we wanted to build an awesome experience, which requires a lot of cross-functional people. So even though the team is only about 12 people across many different areas, we work together, come up with a beautiful app experience. And most of the, as Jordan mentioned, we had to also work with store associate, other experience team to come up with a solution that the customers will love and use on a daily basis.
That's really awesome, and it sounds like you guys can benefit from learning from one another, from different teams, and how to better efficiently work together too, which is really awesome. Natalia, I wanted to ask you, from your experience, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced while introducing this app?
Yeah, good question. So there's two that come to mind. First one really being that we decided kind of to be pioneers. There are other retailers that have similar like app features for when you're shopping in store, but no other retailer has like a full end-to-end store mode experience like the one we were envisioning. So this meant that we didn't have too many references to look at in terms of like what was working in other retail spaces or other companies that we could get kind of inspiration from. And so we always listen to our customer for like everything. For this one specifically, we had to be even more intentional to make sure that we were going to get it right. And this was a challenge at first, but it kind of then worked in our favor because we were able to innovate and set a new standard since kind of, as I said, an end-to-end experience doesn't exist until now, us. And the second one that I can think of specifically from like a UX design perspective is that kind of achieving the less is more is hard. And so it's easy to want to keep things simple and start that way, but down the line kind of stray away from that and lose some of that initial vision. So as a team, we had to be careful with always staying grounded and relying heavily on UX research and analytics to make sure that we were only including the most relevant and helpful things for our customers. So I think we did a really good job at this because a lot of the customer feedback we've been getting alludes to how simple it is, which is exactly what we wanted to like the goal to be, but useful as well.
Well, thank you for that. I know as a user, whenever I use an app, for sure, I'm always like, I wish this was a little bit more simple, straight to the point, get it done. Anybody else want to tap into this question? What were some other challenges you guys face while starting out this app?
I mean, from a challenge standpoint, as an engineering challenge, it was harder for us to, I know as a company, we don't want to invade privacy. So we had to give take the least amount of permission on the device. like tracking the customer and such, so that when they open the app first time, we had to bring up the user experience immediately, but that was challenging to us from a technical standpoint.
Thank you so much. I wanted to also ask you guys, what was your favorite part about launching this app? Jordan, if you don't mind to answer this question.
Yeah, I love this question too. This was a huge project to build totally from scratch. And so that made it really fun. But I think what the most exciting part was actually when we launched and starting to see customers using the experience. Home Depot has a very wide reach. And so we get to see something that we've built and been working on for months and months and months behind the scenes, finally in the hands of customers. It's just so cool. And to then see the customer feedback coming in and all the positive remarks and the things that we can still improve on and build, it's just super exhilarating. So I think actually launching the project and seeing customers use it was definitely my favorite.
That sounds awesome. Rajesh, do you have any other comments? That's how you wanted to jump on.
I mean, the favorite part would be to achieve the timeline within, and as a company, right, we value associate, work-life balance and things like that. So as an engineering manager, I had to ensure we meet the dates, and we also, we have a quality product delivered on time, but including making sure my associates have, work-life balance is actually taken into consideration. So that was a bit of a interesting challenge and fun to do, to ensure that the associates are actually happy doing this within the work hours.
Absolutely. No, I completely understand. And kudos to you guys, because I feel like that's really empowering that you guys were able to do this at such a short amount of time. And then seeing it to light and getting so positive feedback is like super fulfilling and rewarding, I bet. I did wanted to ask you guys too, and I know you mentioned this previously, but Home Depot does live by 8 core values, and I wanted to ask you guys, like, which of those values most resonates with you guys?
So we have 8 core values, which again, saying that you can also always see that value wheel everywhere, really, like presentations and associate aprons and stuff. But I think for me, it's taking care of our people. I think a lot of Home Depot's success really comes from that. And I'm gonna geek out here, but there's a book called Built from Scratch, which Bernie and Arthur, which Home Depot's founders, share the history behind like Home Depot and some of the challenges, how they started, the vision, and every new associate gets this book. And I read it during my internship because I'm a bit of a nerd there, but I remember one sentence specifically that I'll never forget that says, take care of the associates and they'll take care of the customers. And I think I can say confidently that every Home Depot associate really lives up to that value. And so if we take care of that, kind of the rest is taken care of.
I think
Any of you guys to answer? Yeah.
I think there are many, I mean, the 8 different core values. I mean, one of it very dear to me is like doing the right thing for our customers as well as associates. When the pandemic happened, we as a company actually had stores open. We took care of the associate by giving them more work, time, and also increase the pay, things like that. So that really, connected to me. It was the right thing to do at that time.
Good for you guys, honestly. Jordan, do you want to tap into this one too?
Yeah, I think we've covered some good ones. Building strong relationships, I think, is another really great one. Like I mentioned, we could not have done this without so many collaboration opportunities with so many different teams. And Home Depot is really big, but everyone is so open to working together and to helping solve customer problems that building those relationships and expanding your network within the company has always been something that I've really valued, and I can see it kind of spread throughout the organization as well.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It definitely resonates through this right now that you guys have a strong connection to the values of the organization. And I wanted just to ask you guys too, being that you guys have such a core understanding of the importance of your associates and your organization as a whole, What advice would you have for Latinos watching today if you're looking to join Home Depot? Jordan or Natalia?
Yeah. I'd say reach out, connect, set up coffee chats with people to learn more about their area of work and see what you can learn from them that might be helpful for your career growth. Again, everyone I've worked with has been super welcoming and opening to sharing what their career at Home Depot has looked like. And so with such a big organization, there's so many areas of opportunity, and figuring out what might be best suited for your career goals, I think is always a good place to start.
Yeah, and I can add to that. Yeah, I don't think if I've asked them like for a coffee chat, no one has ever said no. Everyone's super friendly and just open to chat more about opportunities or kind of what they can suggest in terms of career growth. So I would just say, as just like do it, reach out to someone if you're interested in knowing more about the company. And I think the good thing too is Home Depot is a company that's kind of always looking for passionate and talented people. And so if you're passionate about having an impact in the retail industry and the lives of our customers, I would say, yeah, reach out, because Home Depot might be the right place for you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, ladies. I think that's some really valuable feedback for our viewers today. And before we end our questions that we have dedicated for you guys, I did want to just ask, open to anybody to answer, but what are some key takeaways that you learned or have experienced from launching this app, right? We talked about, the cross-functional collaboration, the importance of that, the importance and value you guys have for your associates. But what's something that after, launching this and having this now come to life, like what can you walk away with from it?
And I can take a stab at that. So as I mentioned earlier, we're kind of tied to the hip sometimes with research. And so in some of the like initial phases of store mode, we were able to take some learnings from a research initiative that was going on at that time around knowing what type of information is the most or least important for a customer to have once they're on the product page. And so all of that research directly influenced and gave us a ton of insights as to what we needed to include for the in-store product information page. So all of the tiles that you saw kind of in some of the visuals of the product details or most helpful reviews or some of the like similar items and all of that, that came from some insights that we got from research in that initiative. But there's as Jordan said and Rajesh, like ton of collaboration everywhere. So there were a lot of insights coming from, customer feedback or UX research directly or analytics. So all of that played a part into the learnings.
Thank you so much for that. Anybody else want to tap in?
Yeah, I'd say one other thing that was really key for this experience, we built this from scratch. I mean, we have a core app and it has a foundation that we were able to pull on, but this was completely new experience that we were building. We have not, at least in my time, built something at this scale. And that was really cool. And we also did this fully remote. We all live in different parts of the country. Our engineering partners work in different parts of the country. And so that communication was key throughout this experience, because we were talking just like we are today about building this experience, and we're able to bring something to life that is amazing for our customers.
That is the part that I love the most about this, is that you guys literally launched this virtually and from scratch. So very big kudos to you guys. Before we open up the floor now for questions, I did want to, as mentioned earlier in the introduction, that we do have an opportunity to highlight from one of our recruiters here at Home Depot. I'd like to open up the stage now for Kelly to come on and talk a little bit more about this amazing opportunity that is offered to our network here. Thank you so much, Kelly, by the way.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Joanna, and appreciate everyone joining us today. I know it's, again, a busy time getting into the holiday season, so really appreciate everyone's time. As Joanna mentioned, my name is Kelly Seibert. I'm a manager in talent acquisition here at the Home Depot and have the privilege to support Jordan and Natalia's teams, as well as our data science teams here at Home Depot. So we are actively and always hiring across what we call our interconnected experience teams, always looking for great talent, of course, enterprise-wide, but more specifically, of course, in our product data science, UX, engineering spaces for Rajesh's side. Very connected with our technology partners. So if you are interested in learning more about careers here at the Home Depot, I will actually drop my email into the chat. I'll also make sure Joanna shares that as well. More than happy to help navigate, direct you, provide more information, get you connected to any of our specific recruiters supporting those business units. So we are more than happy and here to help support and continue to hire amazing talent here into Home Depot. So again, if you're interested in any area, again, even if it's outside of technology or the areas that we are talking about today, more than happy to help support and can, again, make sure that everyone has my information, and I can certainly help direct you to the right place. So Joanna, I will make sure you have all of that information.
Oh, you're on mute.
Classic, right? I was just thanking Kelly for that amazing introduction, and also I think our network would benefit so much from this experience too. For any of our attendees who are looking to get hired on for the new year, feel free to contact me. But also, I believe Kelly, you'll be sharing your email in the chat. Yeah, so save that information too. And as everybody spoke about here today, from what it sounds like, people at Home Depot are extremely friendly. And if you've ever been to Home Depot, you can attest to that for sure. But I wanted to open up the chat to you guys for the Q&A questions. We do have 2 questions that I see located in our Q&A, and I want to open it up to anybody here to answer the question. The first one we have is from, and we actually have 2 from Angela Kim. One of them is she's asking the 4 THD personas initiated by primary research or transaction business intelligence. Anybody want to attest to this question?
Yeah, Natalia, this kind of falls into your realm. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah. So the 4 personas, it was kind of both. And so those personas came from a workshop specifically that we did with UX research, since they're kind of closer to the customer in the sense that they're always talking and doing kind of moderated interviews and all that, and have a lot of research readouts from years and years. We were able to all be in virtual room, I guess, but kind of think about, okay, who is this experience for? And why we kind of decided on those was because it wasn't just about, okay, yeah, it's for our customers and associates, but like, what are those customers trying to achieve? And I always remember, I think UX research says it as like, what's the job to be done? And so it's not just, hey, I'm going into the store and like, I need a couple of things, but like, okay, what are they actually trying to solve? So is it a project? So those personas also influenced the pillars that Jordan mentioned of, okay, it's not only wayfinding, but it's also, we want to help them feel confident that they're getting the right product, and then what other products might they need to complete their project. So that's kind of how the personas were built.
Super cool. Thank you for that. The next question, actually, I love this question because now I'm interested to find out, but she asked, in the app, how did you guys link the Iowa locations for different store layouts? That's a really good question.
I think I'll take that. Basically, we have a team which builds the store layout. It's a CAD file. We have the entire store layout on it, and we also have the GPS location and things like that. So then we get that info from backend API, and then we know that this is the aisle and this is the location. We have a XML file which gets rendered into a 3D map. That's all it is done.
Thank you. That's so neat. I have another question now from Renee. They're asking, what are the roles and levels within UX at Home Depot, and can you talk about the hiring process?
I don't know if Kelly, yeah.
Hey, Natalia, I didn't know if you wanted to jump in on that. Happy to co-answer the question with you if you'd like.
No, I was gonna say you're probably the right person to answer that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. we have a lot of different opportunities in terms of fields of interest. So with our UX team, we have the research team, we have a designer track, we have more of the architect type positions as well. So we have a variety of specializations across UX that we can absolutely, help find the right fit for. And also, and Natalia can speak to this, a lot of crossover in terms of getting experience in different parts, of the UX team as well. So have, of course, our internship, which Natalia is a product of. So we have UX interns, of course, across the organization. We have UX designers. We have a UX designer too. We have lead UX designers, and then going into the management track as well. So we have a very full and robust track in terms of how you can grow in your career with UX. So very expansive. The interview processes will vary across teams as well. So depending on what particular team you're interviewing for, that might look different than another team. So of course there would be some type of portfolio review, depending on, again, which area of focus it is. That portfolio obviously different, but would certainly recommend that you have a portfolio and on your resume. And of course, if you do decide to apply, make sure that is highlighted as well, because sometimes that is the first thing that hiring managers will see is the portfolio even before the resume. So just ensure that you do have a portfolio link built out as well. But we can certainly, if there's a particular role of interest that you have, feel free to send that over to me, and I'm happy to walk you more precisely through what that interview process looks like for that particular team and role. So please feel free to utilize us for that.
Thank you so much for answering that question. I think that was really, really useful. So again, encouraging you guys, please contact Kelly if you guys are interested in being part of the Home Depot team. She did share her LinkedIn information and also to her email in the chat. We have another question here from Danny. It says, what was the most interesting thing that you learned early on when testing this app?
I remember one part of our research when we were testing, one of the features that we were looking at building was when a customer was using keyword search in the type ahead results that will populate as that keyword is being entered. We had the idea of bringing in the item location, so the aisle bay, for the keywords that were being populated. And when we were testing this out with customers, we were seeing they would see the aisle bay and stop their search and go immediately to that location in the store. And that was really cool because it showed us and supported that #1 use case that we were building towards of customers typically are opening the app inside the store initially to wayfind, to find where that product is located. And so the fact that we were pulling those elements up in the experience and giving that customer that information as early as possible to help solve their use case was so encouraging to see that we were doing the right thing and on the right track.
And I think I can add just another piece to that. At the beginning, at least from a design perspective, it was kind of nerve-wracking to not know if, okay, are we including enough information? Because if you compare it to like our core app, the product information page has a lot of other useful details that might not necessarily be relevant for an in-store customer, but because this again was kind of a new thing we were building, we really had to see if, okay, is this enough information? Are we kind of stripping out a lot of things that might be useful? But as part of some of those initial tests that we had with different customers, it was really just rewarding to see that now that's exactly what they were expecting, because in store, yeah, wayfinding huge, but they don't need to know all of the information, or like a project guide or something like that might not be relevant at that stage where they're just looking for the products they need and not starting a project.
Thank you so much for answering that. We do have another question that just came in too, actually. It says, what is the interview process for people interested in working in the data science team?
Yes, absolutely. So again, much like the UX interview process, it will vary depending on teams. So we have also a very large and robust data science team. So we have a marketing focused data science team and an online focused data science team. We also have data science teams that support the rest of our enterprise as well. So supply-based optimization, finance, decision analytics, you name it. We are either building a advanced analytics or data science team out, or it's already in existence. So we do have teams that roll up to the business units for data science across the enterprise. Specifically for marketing and online, though, there is some type of either coding challenge or case study that we do utilize. Again, it will depend on the team, but we do utilize typically some kind of case study or coding challenge, again, depending on the area of focus that you'll be working on in the data science realm. So typically a recruiter will contact you first, have a conversation there, hiring manager conversation, and then some type of panel / case study / coding challenge to kind of round out the process there as well.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Anybody else want to add any questions into the chat for our panelists or for Kelly regarding hiring? I did want to actually answer you guys a question because I know you guys worked under such a tight time frame. How did your teams work towards getting those deadlines met, and launching so close to the holidays? What was something that you guys learned from that time management and like execution of the timeline?
Yeah, I can touch on it a little bit. For one, we had a lot of help from our PMO partners. We have a wonderful project manager that we work with, and she helped keep us on track and aligned with all of the different things that we were working on and targeting for the release. And then we also learned a lot about what each of us can handle just from a mental capacity. We care so much about our associates and our team members. And so, yes, there were a lot of long hours and a lot of work put into this, but each of us being able to find kind of our balance and our threshold of work versus personal time and respecting that between each other and our teams, I think also helped us get to where we needed to be because we were all there supporting one another with all our different needs.
Yeah, I want to add that on a daily basis, we work, very closely. So if it is a issue in the store, or if it's an issue or something with the UX, so immediately we get feedback, and as soon as we get the feedback, we collaborate and find a solution. I mean, because on a daily basis, it was evolving. Certain things were evolving as we learned. So that's how we managed. And also during the pandemic, it's hard to test. So we used simulation to test across 2,200 stores. It's hard to, every single store you can't go. So we had few stores, and rest of the stores were tested using simulation. So that's how we took care. And in terms of ensuring that associates don't burn out, we actually had leadership give us a day off. Some days, like even now, next week, we had one of the days off, 23rd is off for us, which we usually don't do, but because of our company takes care of associates, so we had a couple of days off in the last 8 months.
That's really, really important. Burnout is super relevant right now, especially with us working virtual. So I think it's important that your company does take a time out to take a point to that, right? That you guys need to take some time off, which I love. Again, I do have some questions regarding, again, opportunities for hiring on. Kelly, if you want to jump on one more time for us. But we do have a question saying, does the HD have any entry-level opportunities for the data science team?
Yes, absolutely. And I apologize. It doesn't look like I can turn my video on. So I'm not trying not to turn my video on, but I don't know what's happening. Sorry. Yes, absolutely. So we actually, again, speaking just for the marketing and online side of data science, so we will be posting our master's and PhD internships shortly. So that will be up probably in the next few weeks. And so we will start probably January, February, starting interviewing and making offers for summer internships. And in terms of entry level, yes, that would look like if you're looking at our career site, careers.homedepot.com, you can search for data science analyst. You can also look for associate data scientist. Those are our two best entry points into the data science team. If you're not coming with that direct data science, any of our data analysts type positions or senior data analyst roles would also be a great kind of gateway into data science here at the Home Depot. But data science analyst, associate data scientist, if you're not looking at internships, are the best points of entry for the data science teams, and that's enterprise-wide.
Thank you so much for that. I have a question. Maybe you might be able to answer this, or Natalia, but they are asking us if the UX design team, do you guys all work remotely?
Right now, yes. So it depends on what team you're on. And yeah, HR has different policies depending on where in the org you are. Under my team specifically, yes, we're working remote.
Thank you for answering that. I have a really good question, and this relates kind of to what you just answered, but also to what I had previously asked. But being that you guys, launched this app from scratch, what were some of the strategies you guys work to work remotely effectively, right? Because you guys are all scattered around in different areas of the country into different teams, like what were some strategies to make sure that you guys were working effectively, remotely? I'm sure that's a really big challenge.
I think I'll take that question because we had a couple of associates right from California to all the way to the Florida. So what we primarily did is have them work on their schedule. They each of them have their lifestyle, right? So we used to have core hours where sort of power hours where we connected, and rest of the hours depends on how they want to schedule their day. So Home Depot is very flexible in terms of your work, how you want to work. So we basically, accommodated their lifestyle.
Thank you so much for answering that. And we do have a question regarding what tools you guys use for this project. If you guys are open to share that information.
What tools, like in what areas? Or all? Because design, I guess, different than for engineering and product. So
Yeah.
I can take design tools.
Good, yeah.
But we used Figma, and so that's where all of the developers could see and inspect all of the designs. And then for prototyping, small kind of simple prototypes, also used Figma, and then user testing.
They actually did mention that, like what kind of apps such as Figma and things of that sort. So thank you for answering that. And this question actually is for you, Natalia. They're asking, as a soon-to-be recent graduate from college, what valuable traits do you recommend to have if they want to be part of the UX team?
Good question. I feel like being passionate, not necessarily thinking that you have all the knowledge, because clearly don't, but be willing to learn, and learn in a fast-paced environment, and just staying curious, I think, was key.
That's really great advice. I'm open to also answering for this question for any other members of the team, right? Like, what are some valuable traits to have to be part of your teams when looking into hiring on?
I think communication is one of those great skills, no matter where you are in the organization, but being able to identify a customer problem, talk to that customer problem, gain buy-in, gain support from the organization of these are the things that we're working on, why we're working on these things, and what value they'll drive. Those communication skills can be really beneficial working at such a large company as well.
Yeah, I can add to that the from a technology standpoint, right? Curiosity is what is important. Are you curious enough to know what's behind a particular problem, right? So that's what we'll look for: curiosity.
All really valuable tips. I think in general, you have to have also a hunger to take on challenges, right? It sounds like, there's opportunity for that for sure at Home Depot, and also opportunity for growth, because I think it's important to oftentimes work with teams and, take on challenges to obviously work and grow in your organization. We have another question too. It says, this is for Marilyn. They're asking that there are PhD students in Mississippi State, and they're interested to learn more about their internships in data science. And are there any openings for summer internships in 2022? So anybody want to answer this question?
Yes, so just as I know, I referenced in the earlier question, we are working on getting those PhD master's roles open in the next couple of weeks. So we should have those posted shortly. So just keep checking our career site or ping me directly, and happy to make sure that anybody that's interested has those links, and we'll start interviewing likely end of January, February timeline. And that internship will run from end of May to middle to end of May, typically to beginning of August, so our summer season.
Awesome. And I know Kelly, she actually added her email, so I recommend also too following up with her directly about the opportunities if you're interested in that. That's
Yes,
like
absolutely. I will always get back to you too. So just feel free to ping me. Happy to help any way that I can.
Thank you so much. We have 10 minutes left of our webinar, and I want to just open it up for any final comments and also questions from our panelists too. And also, I really recommend too for you guys to share your information in the chat for all of you guys. Share your LinkedIns, share your emails if you're open to that. As mentioned before, this team is super open and welcoming to having quick like virtual coffee chats. If you guys are open to that, so feel free to connect with them online. I think it's an amazing opportunity. We got somebody, yes, they are an amazing team, awesome team for sure. Honestly, I think it's so great that you guys are so open to taking on challenges. For me, obviously working on this organization, it's important for everybody to work together to empower one another, even if it's difficult challenges like launching an app before the holidays. That's insane, but kudos to you guys for sure. So yeah, any questions from anybody else on our audience? And I totally encourage our panelists to add their LinkedIn information too, if they're open to that, into the chat to connect with our audience members. And I'm actually going to add my information too. If you guys want to learn more about how to become a member of Latinas in Tech, as mentioned, all you have to do is just go onto our website and register through latinasintech.org. And then you're open to all of our network, and that also includes all of our events like today's event, and also to all of our networking opportunities that we have for recruiters. But yeah, there are no more questions for our panelists. Any final comments from you guys before we close off?
Just thank you so much for having us. And yes, please reach out. We want to hear from you and see how we can help in your career growth, answer any questions. We obviously all have a very deep passion for working at Home Depot, and so we're excited to be able to share that.
Same. Couldn't have said it better, so same.
Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate having you guys on. And also to everybody in our chat, giving you guys kudos and love. Thank you so much to all of you all. And with that, I wish you all a safe and warm holidays. Stay safe, and also hope to see you guys in the next coming year. So stay connected, everybody. Have a good rest of your evening, or your rest of your day, I should say.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.